Alright, quick update to this. We are at 14.8k subs. We started yesterday with 14.5, so yeah, the progress is absolutely insane. If we hit 15,000 by January 5th, I'll give away 2 Dazzler passes, but if we get it before the new year, I might have to think of something else to give away, because my gosh, y'all are going crazy with it. But yeah, let's just keep it going, man. If you want to get 2 Dazzler passes, subscribe, and if we get it even sooner, maybe something else happens. And now begins the journey of SENTRY and his 11 NECROPOLIS solos. Yeah, this is absurd, right? Like, this is just a crazy number of solos. I know other champions can do more, but this is just like 11 on one path. I haven't even like touched the other paths with him yet, so this could be like 11 out of a whole lot more, so we'll see. But yeah, this America Chavez fight is pretty interesting. What she does is whenever you knock her down, a 12-second timer starts, and if you knock her down again in that timer, time frame, she gets a negative zone dimension, which is not fun, obviously. But SENTRY here, whenever he's in his yellow phase, I think it's, I don't even know what it's called, but yeah, his like medium attack phase, doing a medium or light attack inflicts a wither onto the opponent, and for America Chavez, that removes her, dimensions. So yeah, very good for this fight. Just needs to like kind of play around that heavy attack phase at the start, because you want to like get to the exhaustion phase to build those up to maximize your damage output. Then once you're in the medium attack phase for the second time, you just stay there for the entire fight. So yeah, it's some build up for sure, but once he's there, it's just like game over. It's a very easy fight afterwards. But yeah, like in this fight in particular, the ramp up on the heavy attack phase is just extra annoying because of how this character works, or like how America Chavez works, sorry. But now we're in a good spot here. We just need to go for some light attacks or medium attacks, doesn't really matter. And once we have our 10 exhaustions built up, I can drop a heavy attack to refresh them, and that should do it. Like, that's just like the ramp up done. Here we go for the SP1 in just a second, but she's just not playing ball for some reason. Now she drops CSP2, it's unblockable, we dex it. That was just all luck right there, man. I'll just be completely honest. Here we dropped the heavy attack, and you know, as you can see, she got the negative zone, but we have the withers, and those withers just completely counter America Chavez. So we can like knock her down however often we want now, because she can't really gain the dimensions anymore since the withers just turn them off immediately. So now this fight is very much under control. It's just gonna be him doing mediums and light attacks and just her dropping special attacks, and that's literally it. Like, that's all this fight is. I could just like skip it if I want to, like, you know, just put it in 2 times, but no, I'm gonna make y'all watch all this, right? I need that watch time. I'm kidding. I'm kidding, obviously, but it's just important to showcase like all the fight. But yeah, it's just this, right? And this is where like you could argue that SENTRY is somewhat boring once he's fully ramped up. But you wanna know what isn't boring? His damage output, right? Like, that's insane damage that he has. He's doing like what? Let me see. Okay, well, that was not good. He's doing 51,000 medium attacks, man, plus all the energy damage as well. It's crazy stuff. It's absolutely crazy stuff. Yeah, once he's like fully ramped up and like he has his loop going, you can't really stop him, and he just does crazy numbers. But yeah, these solos all vary in like time. This one I think was like an 8-minute one, which isn't bad at all. It's a NECROPOLIS fight. I am boosted for like the majority of these fights, but it's like not even the 30%. It's just like the 10% and like a 15% attack one. Which, you know what, man, I don't even care. It's NECROPOLIS, right? If you don't boost for this, you're just weird. Yeah, that's just factual. I'm sorry, but yeah. Now we're at 70%, or she's at 70%, but now the red charges have started, and so we're now rooted for all the special attacks, which is very annoying. But then again, it's America Chavez. Like, her SP1 is one of the easiest things to dodge, thankfully. But then I was like, let me just push her to the SP2 instead, which is not smart. Do not do that versus Chavez. You will regret it. And then I get hit, so now I'm like, am I even gonna solo this, man? Because I'm not playing well at all. But then we drop the SP3, and that helps rebuild some confidence because yeah, the regen is just very nice. And I saw someone comment this on my last SENTRY video, which by the way, thank you for watching. It did numbers, to say the least. If you like drop the SP1 while you have the regens up, you actually get like these passive regens that do a lot more for you, and you also like, you know, get to heal up like an extra 25% or something, which is absolutely insane. So yeah, his regen has some insane potential for sure. The only issue is whenever you drop that SP1 to get the bonus regen, you enter the next form, and I don't really want to do that in this fight especially. But yeah, now we're in like the 50% phase. We are doing very good damage, and when we started this, like, what is it, the red charge phase, I'll just call it that, she was at 70% health, and now she's down to like under 50. So once you're like ramped up, the fight becomes a whole lot faster, obviously. So yeah, here we go back in. 51,000 mediums is just crazy numbers. I think like 51,000 plus the energy damage, it's like 1% of her health per medium attack. That's crazy stuff, right? It just, like, when you put it in that perspective for a NECROPOLIS fight, it is genuinely just really impressive stuff. And yeah, here we go back in. Just drop the light attack. 31,000 light attacks, by the way. Pretty good. Here we go back in again. Drop the relic into the heavy attack to refresh our debuffs. And yeah, like, it's so easy to just keep this guy going, and the heavy attack refresh is so clutch because it's on the heavy attack. So if you're unable to refresh them, then something went like very wrong. So yeah, that's just like how it is with SENTRY, man. It's very easy to keep him going, and I just love the ease of use for sure. So now we go back in, and I notice right now that like the red charges are ticking down very quickly, and right now we're like on pace to not even finish in time, which is a bit worrying. But then again, it's SENTRY, so like a couple of lucky crits can just change that in a heartbeat, man. So yeah, there she drops a heavy attack. Not fun, but it's okay because literally one hit just removes the dimension, which is crazy work. But yeah, there we drop a heavy attack again, just getting the debuffs refreshed, and this one is just about over. It's not just about over, like, you know, it's NECROPOLIS. 25% is no laughing matter, obviously, but with how much damage this guy does, I see the 25% and I'm like, okay, it's kind of just a wrap. But that's crazy, right? You know a champion's that powerful when like you see 25% in NECROPOLIS and you're like, okay, fight's done. Because you just know that he's gonna burst through it so fast, which he is, like, right? Those 34,000 light attack crits, that's like 0.5% of her health, and like with the energy damage, it's very close to just like a full percent per crit, which is absolutely wild. And yeah, this one, it was an interesting fight, right? It was a bit of a tough start with the whole necrotic boon phase that she has, where like you can't knock her down twice in 12 seconds, because it made that heavy attack phase just super annoying to build up. But once we're past that and we're just in this phase, then yeah, it's just like an absolute cakewalk. It's so straightforward. It's so easy to do because not even her dimensions can stop you, since you just remove them so easily. So now she's down to what, 7% health? It's like about to be over. I dropped the SP3 for some reason. I don't know why I did that. I didn't have to do it. The charges though, they are dropping like flies. They are dropping really fast, but so is her health bar, so it's like, who's gonna win this? And there she drops CSP2, and the fight is over after one more combo with double crits, man. You love to see that. But now we have Airwalker here. I showed this fight in my original SENTRY video, and it is still just absolutely insane to me how he is just this good for Airwalker, who is a lot of people's least favorite fight. But yeah, he just crushes it, man. He's so good for this Airwalker fight. He makes him an absolute joke, and like, it's one of the fastest fight times I've seen for NECROPOLIS. Like 3 minutes is crazy work. It is just absolutely crazy work. Yeah, the heavy attacks off to a great start. And yeah, we're just already doing some crazy damage output since we start with our 10 charges. And yeah, we're almost ready to like fully ramp up here. We drop the SP2 to get into the next phase, and all the exhaustions will just increase our damage output for future phases. So yeah, we're about like done ramping up now. We have the 10 exhaustions just about. And if you haven't seen this fight, man, you are in for an absolute treat, because my gosh, this is just insanity. It is so it's just silly, to be honest. So now we're in the medium attack phase. That's fine. We're trying to get to the heavy attack phase just because I prefer using it whenever like the fight doesn't require mediums or light attacks. It's mainly because the heavy attack is just so useful already. So like getting some extra damage with it is just absolutely massive to me. Like the heavy attack is already the most useful attack for Sentry since it does refresh his debuffs. So yeah, it's just really nice to have that extra damage with it. And by extra damage, I mean like just comically good damage output. Like 70,000, 60,000 heavy attacks is just absurd. Paired with like the extra energy damage, and you have like 120,000 per heavy attack. Per heavy attack hit, by the way. If it's a double crit, it's like 240,000 damage, which is like over 4%, or like, yeah, 4% of Airwalker's health, which is like that's just unreal, man. And that's why the fight's 3 minutes. Like that's why it's so fast, because he's just such a DPS monster on those heavy attacks. And like damage per hit also is wild. Like it is like actually crazy. Here we go back in, drop the heavy attack, and yeah, some more crits. 68,000 right there, 50,000 plus energy damage. And this is just an absolute joke of a fight. And the best part is, like, he also hard counters the power gain, since once he has those 10 withers, Airwalker just like never gains power from his power cosmic. So yeah, it's silly. It's like genuinely so silly. And we keep on going. We just have like the heavy chain in the corner now, which is hilarious. I don't even know what to say at this point, man. It's just like the proof is in the pudding when it comes to how powerful this champion is in this piece of content. Like these numbers are nearly unheard of by just like 99.99% of the champions in this game. Like 240,000 heavy attacks is unreal. Like that's just like fact of the matter, man. It's silly. There we go back in, drop the heavy attack a couple more times, and this should do it. So there you go. That was 3 minutes and 14 seconds for a Necropolis fight. Absolutely unreal. Now we have Captain Britain, and you know what? Maybe I lied. Maybe it's 10.9 solos, because we don't talk about what happened when she was at 94% originally. It's just, you know, I was like, I feel bad, and I would just give her like, I'll give her a free win. And so I did that, and yeah. But, you know, if you round up, 94% very much is like equal to 100%. So yeah, it's pretty much a solo. And plus, like, you know, it's Sentry. He can solo this in his sleep if he wanted to. So yeah, maybe I fibbed a tiny bit, but it doesn't matter because it's still very impressive stuff. But yeah, this Captain Britain fight, what she does is she reverses your controls, and you know, you want to bet how I didn't solo this in the first try? It's because of the reverse controls. So I learned that I just have to just not even risk anything. I'm blocking those babies, right? I am not even trying to do anything funny. So yeah, just trying to play this as cautiously as possible, which is going very well so far. As you can see, I have done like what? How much percent? I think I've done more than 6% by now, so it's going better than last time, that's for sure. Here we go back in though, drop the heavy attack, and we are almost close to the heavy attack phase, which is just like the game over phase for any fight. So yeah, pretty awesome stuff. They drop the SP2, and like one more combo hit should do it for us. We should be in the phase after that. Here she drops the SP2. Not even risking it, just gonna block all that. And yeah, 31,000 light attacks, by the way. That's crazy stuff. And now we're in the heavy attack phase. This is it, man. So one thing to note is that our damage output is gimped from her exhaustions, and yeah, it's really gimped, right? Like 43,000. That is not normal for Sentry. He usually does like 50, like, I don't know, actually, for non-class advantage, probably like 60,000 plus on the heavy attack. So yeah, this is not his regular damage, but it's definitely enough to solo this fight and like to solo many others. So yeah, it doesn't really matter if our damage is gimped, because when your damage output is just that good, you can be like gimped 50% and you'll still solo the fight, which is just insane, obviously. But that's just Sentry for you, man. I'll say that a lot in this video, by the way, because sometimes it really is just Sentry for you. There I dropped the SP3, and we're now trying to gain back some health with that, and yeah, the regen is very good. It is a very strong regen. You get 20 of those little regen buffs, which if you wanted to, you can convert into regen passives, but like I said before, if you do that, you enter the next phase, and I am not trying to do that, so yeah, I'm just gonna take the 20% and be happy with it. That's still very good regen, right? Like, that's still very, very nice. It's not like, you know, Wolverine or Blade levels, but I'm happy with it. We'll never see like Blade levels of regen or like Wolverine levels of regen again for a very long time. But yeah, there I dropped the SP. The SP nothing, man. That was a heavy attack. Sorry, I'm a bit out of it if you couldn't tell. Yesterday, I watched the worst football game, including my favorite football team. So I am, yeah, still recovering from that. So I might be a bit out of place. But you know what, man? I'm still here. I'm still trying to record this 11 Necropolis fight video. And fun fact about Necropolis, 11 fights is a lot of fights, and it means that it's going to be a very long video, and I don't know the last time I've done a 1 hour plus video, or like a 1 hour plus commentary at least. It's probably been like maybe a year, I'm guessing, so this is a real test to see if I'm washed or not. And I hope I'm not, but you know, I'm getting up there in age. I'm kidding, I'm 19, but maybe I'm not kidding, I don't know. I feel like my body's aged like 50 years after playing Howard because my fingers are literally ruined. So, yeah, now I'm just like waffling on, but that's, you know, it's, I kind of expected this. I expected to like talk about random things throughout these fights because, you know, it's 11 Necropolis fights and I can't like commentate on the fight the entire time. So I'll have to branch out a bit. So I do apologize, but, that's just how it is, man. But this fight is going very well so far. The inverted controls can mess you up big time, especially on those special attacks. And now she's in the second phase, which means she gets increased attack rating. And not only that, she is at 25 prowess. So if I slip up on her special attacks, you know who's not surviving? Me. I'm not surviving any of that. So I have to play this very, very cautiously, which I am doing. And I'm also doing 72,000 heavy attacks. So yeah, this champion is bonkers damage wise. I'll say it 20,000 times if I have to. But it's going very, very well so far. She's down to like 20%, and that's where I just think like, okay, this fight's done. But this fight's kind of an exception because even like the tiniest mistake will just make you get one shot. So maybe the fight isn't done yet. Maybe it's done when it's at 0%. And yeah, that's the mindset I had for this fight because it's such a dangerous one. She hits you with that special attack when you're like not even paying attention. And yeah, it like crits for 1 billion damage and you just do not survive. So yeah, this is a scary fight for sure, man. With like the inverted controls as well. Oh man, you gotta be careful. Like straight up, you just gotta be careful. The block damage is insane on the special attacks as well. So can't really block it. You just have to try to like, you have to try to parry it or just like really be on your feet to dex it. But I'm not that. So here I drop the heavy attack one more time though. And this one is just about over, like actually. There we got a crit, so like that did kind of signal the end of this fight. There I go for the SP3, and is it enough to one-shot? Unfortunately, his SP3 does like 5 damage, so I mean 21,000 isn't terrible, but compared to like his 240,000 heavy attacks, it's not that good. Let's see, actually fun fact, 20,000, so 12 SP3s equals 1 Sentry heavy attack. That is crazy. I think I did that right. I hope I did. But yeah, now we have the Wiccan fight. Very straightforward fight here. Absolute joke of a matchup for Sentry, just because Wiccan has like negative health. And yeah, Sentry loves that, man. He's going to make quick work of this fight. I could have been a whole lot faster, to be honest. There I mess up just big time. But then I dropped the heavy attack, and yeah, everything's good now. And I said earlier that like if you don't refresh your debuffs, then something went very wrong. And yeah, something almost went very wrong in that fight for sure. And it's crazy because I didn't have to do like a heavy attack bait. I can just go for the medium into the heavy attack, but I didn't realize that. So yeah, I'm not really playing this the best way I could, that's for sure. There I dropped the SP2, and it's unblockable, I guess. I didn't know that it was unblockable, but yeah, his block was definitely broken there. And yeah, I'm just messing up this fight. It should be so much faster at this point. Like, I just don't know how I'm fumbling it this badly. But it's still going like pretty well, I guess. Like, we have our debuff still, which is something. And you know, other fights we might not have the debuff, so hey, I'm not complaining. What I am complaining about is that I have the neutralize on me now, which is not good because we can't gain our buffs. But thankfully, Sentry is immune to incinerate, so we can't get melted by Wiccan here, which is, yeah, could be worse, I guess, right? There we go for the heavy attack though for the refresh. And now we're in a good spot. Now we're in like a spot where we can get to the SP1, convert those buffs into the next phase, and now we're looking very, very good, thankfully. Now we're not looking good though, because I mess up again. And yeah, man, this Wiccan, I don't know why he's causing me so much trouble, because when I did my initial Karenas Challengers, no, 10-year challenge run, I did use Sentry at rank 2 for it. And this fight was so easy with him that time around, but when I have the rank 3, it's an absolute struggle for some reason. I can't really explain it. But on the bright side, now that we're in our heavy attack phase, we don't have to like really worry about the neutralize because we don't really need the buffs anymore. So yeah, I can just parry whenever I want to, and since we're immune to incinerate, we just never take any damage from the neutralize and like the buffs failing. So yeah, now we're just in a great spot here. It's very, very easy now. Like the setup was kind of annoying just because of the neutralize and like watching out for that. And you know, you could just say that like that's kind of one downside for Sentry, the fact that like he isn't really able to stop neutralize at all, which is frustrating sometimes for sure, right? Because you know, he has like what, 20 buffs at max ramp. That's a lot of buffs, and you know, you want to have the ability to gain those buffs, and neutralize does not let you do that. So yeah, that's a bit annoying in some matchups for sure. Like, it's just some mystics he just does not work for example like Rintra, which is very, you know, that's just like not cool, right? But I don't know, if he was like immune to neutralize, that'd be great. That's just like one little like nitpick of his kit though. Otherwise, it's just like god mode all around. He's like crushing this fight so far, so yeah, it's nice. And like even then, he can probably still take Rintra if you just stay in the first phase. So, but because like of the withers and all that, so I don't even know if this man has like too many downsides besides the standard like skill stuff, you know, like purify and all that. But we're like down to 22% health. Each heavy attack is doing like 1% of his life, which is hilarious. Even the non-crits are taking away 1% per go, which is so wild, man. What are the non-crits like? Let me see. So yeah, he drops the SP2 first, which is fine. Damage output, not that crazy from Wiccan. And yeah, 27,000 on the non-crit, 70,000 when it does crit. That's wild, man. That's actually insane. Each heavy attack is like 2% if it crits, right? Yeah, like 2% gone, and then another 2% gone. So that was like 4% for that heavy attack. For a Necropolis fight, by the way, this is a lot of health in this fight, and he's crushing it. So yeah, like one more heavy attack should do it. Not one more. I was so wrong on that. That was such a bad prediction. Here we go for the parry into one more heavy attack, into another heavy attack, and we are just not critting. So like, when is it gonna be over? I don't know, but there we go. Fight's done, and that's solo number. Let's see. Okay, Chavez, Airwalker, Captain Britain, Wiccan. Okay, so this is number 5 now. This is the toughest one by far. This is the Apocalypse fight. This one is annoying. It is very, very frustrating because whenever he dashes towards you, he gains an indestructible, and this is the node for all the other fights on this path. It's a very annoying trap node, and it's honestly, yeah, one of the tougher ones for sure. I think Wong does it very, very well because he can nullify the indestructible, but for champions that can't do that, you just have to play around it, and Sentry plays around it pretty well. He also plays around Apocalypse's necrotic boon very well. So what his boon is, it's whenever like this 20-second timer expires, he gains a prowess passive. Now, whenever he has prowess passives and genetic codes, he gains various benefits. At 3, he's stun immune when he's like attacking the opponent, and at 4 charges, whenever he hits you with a light attack and you block it, he inflicts a stun debuff. So yeah, do not try to even like let him do that, because it's rough if that does happen. Now here's one cool thing about this fight. With Sentry here, usually you have to like parry heavy for like most heavy champions. For Sentry, you can use a medium attack into the heavy attack, which is very, very helpful for this fight especially. So yeah, it's pretty nice. I don't remember if I utilized it that much. I hope I did, because it is definitely the strategy for this fight. But like I told you earlier, I don't really think I was, thinking of that strat while I was doing this fight, which is just a shame from me, man. Like, I just wasn't playing this character to, like, my best capabilities, that's for sure. But the craziest part is, I didn't play him to my best ability, and I still have 11 solos under my belt now, which is insane. Like, that should show you how good this champion is. You can play him, like, not even optimally, and you will still solo Necropolis fights with him. 11 of them at that. So, yeah, now we're in the heavy attack phase, and now it's showtime, man. It's time to get our damage going. Let's see what the heavy attack is doing numbers-wise. Okay, I do utilize it. That's good. I do actually utilize the medium attack stun. It's so helpful for this fight, because, like, if you try to parry and like, he's stun immune, and you try to keep on, baiting out a heavy attack, and like he inflicts like the stun on you, that's just not fun, obviously. So yeah, that medium attack stun thing is very, very helpful for Sentry. And yeah, the damage output is obviously very good right now. Like that's just how it is. 24,000 on the non-crits. So that means with the energy damage, each heavy attack, even if it doesn't crit, takes away 1%. That's just how it is. Very nice, right? Like, doing 1% on a Necropolis health pool per heavy attack is crazy stuff, that's for sure. Here we go back in, though. And yeah, I did mess up there. I did get stunned, which is very annoying. And that's just like, that's just showing you how annoying this guy is to fight sometimes, but that's okay. We go back in, get the stun, and yeah, I'm pretty sure that Mcoc has some crit res, because we're not critting super often. Sentry has pretty good crit rate, so like, if he's not like critting at all, I think it is something with Mcoc's stats, but I'm not too sure. He looks like a type of guy to have crit res, right? That, like, we can all agree on that. It just looks like he has it. But yeah, we go back in, drop a medium attack. Now we're critting, man. 66,000 right there. You love to see it. And yeah, the bulwark is honestly pretty helpful for this fight too, because without the bulwark, we would be taking a lot more damage with those 4 prowess special attacks. Because yeah, Apocalypse, he's beefy. He's beefy damage-wise and health-wise. So this is going to be a bit of a slow burner fight for sure, but we're getting it done. So like, that's all that matters really. Here we go back in, and yeah, 24,000, 19,000. So like, that's what, like 86,000 per heavy attack with like 0 crits, by the way. That's very good. And like, with like even just 1 crit, you double the heavy attack damage. That was 66,000 and 52,000. That's absurd, bro. That's like actually absurd. And yeah, it's just gonna be this for the rest of the fight. Just like him doing his 6-second special attack, and then me doing the heavy attack like twice, then he drops it again. Yeah, I call it that perfectly. Here we go back in though. Drop the heavy attack once. Actually, we go for a relic there. We change it up a bit, and now we drop the SP3, and yeah, we should be looking good for the rest of this fight. But like I said, it's a slow burner, and then I get stunned, so maybe it's not looking good. But then again, we have the 20 bulwarks, we have the 20 regens as well, so we're gaining a ton of health in this fight. Go back in, drop the heavy attack, and now we're in the second part of this fight. He is down to 49% health, and yeah, it is... Look, I'll be the first to say it. This one's kind of a snooze fest just because Apocalypse has so much health, and his his necrotic node is just so easy. Cause like his necrotic node is literally okay. He's gonna gain stuff that he usually gains. That's it. It's very straightforward. So yeah, it's an interesting one. Like I'll be straight up though. When I was like planning out this path, I was like, okay, Sentry probably does Chavez, he probably does Wiccan, and then he does Dragon Man. That's it. He does 3 fights. I was never, not even like in the slightest, expecting him to take 11 Necropolis fights. That is insane, man. Like when you really think about it, there are 14 fights on the path, on like both paths combined. Taking 11 out of 14 of those is incredible, because that means that you have 4 slots for the 3 other fights and the Grandmaster. That's really good stuff, man. Like that makes planning so much easier for people. And yeah, he's just, I don't know. I said that this is a snooze fest, but he's honestly a very fun champion to play just because the numbers are so satisfying. So yeah, I think he's a very fun option for Necropolis. He's a very good option as well, right? Like, you know, taking 11 fights, that's not easy. That's not an easy thing to do. Very few champions can do it. But yeah, he's very awesome, right? And we're doing 66,000 crits. So let me just repeat that, just because I think it's important to repeat, you know. Go back in here, drop another heavy attack, and yeah, I'm gonna spoil this fight for you. It's gonna be him dropping the SP1 and then us doing the heavy attack, and then he's gonna drop the SP1 again, and then yeah, he's just gonna go to 0 before we do. Actually, you might see the SP2 from Mcoc here. Ah, so close. We were close, and then he drops the SP1 because of course he does. So yeah, that's this fight for you, man. Very repetitive. If Mcoc had like a normal sized special attack, what I mean is like if his special attack was like shorter in length, this would be a much more like tolerable fight. But since it's like literally 20 seconds for SP1, that's what makes it so boring, and that's why it makes it feel like this fight takes 10 years to do. But in reality, it's like an 8-minute fight, which isn't even bad for Necropolis standards. So it's like, dang man, this Mcoc, he feels like an actual boss. It's just such a slow fight, but we're almost done with it, right? That's what's important here. We get some nice crits. Those crits will make the fight go by a lot faster, I'll tell you that much. So yeah, a double crit. Sentry wants out of this too, man. He's done. He's like, yeah, I've seen the SP1 like a billion times already. I'm ready to just close this fight out. And yeah, message heard, Sentry. Keep on critting, man. And then this fight is going to be done in a flash. No crits there, unfortunately. Got 1 crit there. We are so close. If that crit though, would have been game over for sure. There he drops the SP1. Unsurprising to anybody. And yeah, this fight is over. Wow, that's a tough one, man. It's like the nodes don't make it tough, but just like the fact that Apocalypse has so much health and his special attacks just take forever, oh man, that makes it a challenge for sure. So this Tiger fight is a very interesting one as well. This one's much more fast paced though. It's a very fun fight. So what her Necropolis thing is whenever she has one of her senses active, she gains bonus effects. So with the orange one, whenever she hits your block, she inflicts a rupture onto you, which is not fun, right? It does pretty noticeable damage. Additionally, whenever she has the blue thing active, she has a 50% chance to miss any light attack. So do not light attack against her, that's for sure. Now, thankfully, Sentry is just a heavy attack merchant, and so, okay, a little backstory to that. I recorded this at a Christmas gathering. I don't know why I thought it was the best chance to record this, but while I was recording the stuff at the gathering, by the way, I only did this fight at the gathering, I'm pretty sure. No, I did a few more others, but it's just because we were like waiting for people to get there, so I was like, I'll just just record some of this in the meantime, but I didn't take into account that people would want to like talk about me or like talk to me, sorry. So I was like, oh, so I had to pause this like I think 2 times, just like this fight alone I had to pause twice. And yeah, so it is what it is, right? That's on me. I'm like the worst at like planning ahead when it comes to like when I'm gonna take certain fights in the game, especially when like I'm recording them for some reason. But yeah, so the tempo of this fight is pretty much just do not let her hit your block while she has the orange thing active. But then again, if she does do it, it's okay, like you'll survive. It's not that much damage. And additionally, don't try to do a light attack while she has the blue thing active, and then that's really it. The fight afterwards is just very straightforward. Here we go back in, drop the heavy attack, 73,000 heavy attack right there. So let's see the damage output when it crits. How much red damage is it? Okay, you can crit now, Sentry. It's okay, bud. You can crit, please. I want to see what the number is. Here, drop the heavy attack, and okay, no crits yet at all. Okay, what the heck, man? Okay, 71,000. I did not see the red number there. I had one job and I couldn't even see the number there. Okay, that was the second phone call. Or no, not the phone call. That was the second time someone was like approaching me. So I was like, okay, like please. I think I went to the bathroom after this. So this is an NECROPOLIS solo on the toilet. I hope y'all know that. But yeah, here we go back in though. Well, okay, 70 something and like 57,000. So like that's almost like 130,000 damage per heavy attack. So yeah, this will be a quick fight. Okay, well, like quick for NECROPOLIS standards. Any NECROPOLIS fight is not going to be a quick one, right? You know, I don't know how SENTRY did that Airwalker in 3 minutes. That's insane stuff. Like, it might be the fastest I've seen from Airwalker, or like versus Airwalker. I guess I haven't seen like too many videos on NECROPOLIS Airwalker in specific, but 3 minutes has to be up there, man. Like, that's just insane fight time. That's like 2 million damage a minute. It's like actually crazy. But yeah, here we go back in, drop the heavy attack, 71,000 crits, because why not? Just like, it's so silly. And like, I think it's crazy how like I'm just used to the damage. Like, you know, 70,000 on the heavy attack plus a 50,000 burst damage. Yeah, that's just what I'm not surprised that SENTRY's doing it, right? Because he's that powerful. He's that powerful of a champion. And yeah, it's crazy how this guy was like deemed trash. I do not think this champion is trash, obviously. If you can do 11 NECROPOLIS fights in a 14 fight quest, you are good, in my eyes at least, right? You are a good champion. You have good potential. And, you know, next up is like the Alliance War map. I want to go into Alliance War with him. I've already done like a snippet of that on the first video, where I took like a mini boss in like 31 seconds, right? So yeah, this guy has potential, right? If you can do this, you can probably do a lot of things in the game. That's just like a fact. What is annoying though is this girl is just literally not letting me do anything. Oh my god, what was that? And that's like the only way your debuffs can fall off is like if they're just like not playing ball in the slightest, then yeah, of course they'll fall off, right? Like that's the case with any champion in this game. But yeah, thankfully the heavy attack is very easy to like throw because you can do a medium into it, and like that's the easiest way of doing any heavy attack. It's like similar to the Chavez or Doom heavy attack style. So yeah, very nice, very helpful for sure. There we go back in, drop the heavy attack again. No crits, but like she's at 15%. The fight's pretty much done, you know. Crazy to call a fight done that has so much health at 15%, but hey, I'll say it for like the 5th time in this video, that's just SENTRY for you. Here she drops CSP1 again, no big deal. Go back in, drop the heavy attack. Any crits? No crits, that's okay. But yeah, it doesn't really matter at this point. Like any number of heavy attacks, it doesn't matter. The fight's just done. And after this fight, we have I think a pretty challenging one. Yeah, so I skip Hercules because I get him down to like 20% and then kind of fumble it. And you know, Captain Britain 6%, I'm like, sure, I can work with that. Hercules is like 20%. I'm not gonna call that a solo, because yeah, 20%, that's a lot of percent, right? For Sentry it's not, but for like most champions it is. 6% more debatable, but if you ask me, if you can like do a fight very easily from 94%, you can safely say like they'll solo that with ease, right? Like that's just how it is, man. It's Captain Britain too. Hercules is like a 3 times tougher fight. It's very annoying, right? That Herc fight. And he put up a good fight though, for sure. And like he was having it, like he was on pace for a solo. I just messed up at the end. But yeah, now we have Captain America Sam Wilson in this fight. And this one's a very, it's a very interesting one for Sentry, especially because this is Sam Wilson. And you know, Sam Wilson auto blocks all the time. That's just who he is. So you have to play it in a very different way. You have to bait out the SP2 before you drop the special attack, because Captain America Sam Wilson's SP2 gets rid of all of his armor ups. So once you let him drop the SP2 and you drop your own special attack, you'll have essentially 0 armors, which means he has a 0% chance to auto block. And that's the game plan for this fight. Bait out the SP2 and then just let him do his thing afterwards. And here I mess up though, because I was unable to let him drop the SP2 in time, but he didn't auto block that, which is crazy because I swear that he had enough charges to do it. So maybe I just got really lucky on the percentage chance, but hey, I'll take it, man. There he drops the SP2 though, and yeah, now it's time to drop our own special attack into the SP2. There we go. And one more special attack too from Sam Wilson, and we're just in business because we'll enter the heavy attack phase. And after that, it's no more special attacks, no more worry about auto block. Yeah, it's going to be exciting. And this fight is also a pretty quick one. It's just like the ramp up. You have to really strategize for the ramp up, which is fine, right? I feel like NECROPOLIS does have a lot of strategy involved in the fight. So yeah, it's no surprise that this one has strategy as well. And additionally, the thing with the thing with Sentry is that Sentry is able to adapt to any fight, right? Like he was able to adapt to Chavez by only doing mediums and light attacks, and that's how he was able to solo it. So yeah, like the fact that he can adapt to like certain fights by like altering his playstyle is incredible, right? Like a lot of champions focus on one sort of damage output, and you know, Sentry does do that too, right? He does have just like his energy and his energy burst damage. However, Sentry also has different ways of applying that damage, and that's where he feels different from other characters. Like Sentry's form of damage output can come from the heavy attacks or the basic attacks, and like having that difference is a game changer, because some characters punish heavy attacks, some characters require heavy attacks, and he's ready for both of those options. So yeah, very, very good champion in that regard, and that's why I'm such a big fan of this character, you know, because yeah, he's just very easy to adapt to anything, and I like those type of characters. So yeah, man, Sentry, that's just what do I say? That's just Sentry for you, right? So there I dropped the SP3. Gotta get some regen up for this fight just because I don't want to like have to risk anything. And like right there, I take the burst damage, so I'm glad I had those regens because yeah, we can just gain back all that health pretty much, so we're chilling. And yeah, this one is also, it's not a slow burner per se, but you know, the indestructible trap node is just very annoying for all of these champions, right? Especially Sam Wilson, who is just like, he's also pretty tanky like at base with the armor ups, but we're still doing great damage per heavy attack, like 45,000, not bad in the slightest. I'm pretty sure that crits bypass like almost all of armor, but they don't bypass like all of armor, so you still notice a little bit. That's for sure. Like 51,000 though, still very good damage obviously, and we're critting a ton in this fight for some reason. Like, does Sam Wilson have like negative crit res? I don't know, but I'll take it for sure. There we get no crit, so I talked too soon. I spoke way too soon on that regard, but it's okay, because yeah, I'm glad that we had that nice little sequence of crits, because when you don't crit against Sam Wilson, you do like 0 damage because he has all the armors, and yeah, the armors are super annoying to deal with. So I mean, like, it's fine though. We're still making pretty good pace for this fight. Here we go back in after the stun, and yeah, like, the crits are very helpful in this fight, because if we don't crit, like, we still do about 1% of his health per heavy attack that doesn't crit, which isn't bad. But like, if we do get the crit, it just makes my life a whole lot easier. But when I soloed this fight with him, I was like, dude, this is crazy, right? Like, sometimes you just like think about what you've just done. And it's like, I can't believe I actually did this. Like, I can't believe I soloed NECROPOLIS, or like, 11 fights out of 14 with a champion that people were just calling bad, right? And, I already had this little rant earlier in the video, but I think this man deserves like some appreciation at least, because doing this stuff isn't easy, right? Adapting to all these different fights isn't easy. So yeah, it's really important to like have, wait just 1 second. I forgot to include the Psycho Man fight in this video. Oh my god. Okay, we're gonna have to backtrack a little bit because, okay, so how am I gonna do this? Am I just going to have to, how am I gonna have to, okay, sorry, new crisis just happened, I apologize. But okay, so I did solo Psycho Man, but I forgot to include it earlier on in this video, so I might have to put it after this fight, which will just make no sense whatsoever, right? But dang, how would I forget about Psycho Man? That's crazy. We're fine. Yeah, we're chilling. It's okay. I was a bit taken aback by that. Right? Because yeah, Psycho Man, he's the last fight before Apocalypse. So I do apologize. I'm just like trying to think of how I could forget. So I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna like think out loud in this fight because it's kind of filler. I'll be just like straight up. So okay, Chavez, Airwalker, Britain, Wiccan, Psycho Man, and then Tigra, Apocalypse. Who's after that? Oh, I skipped Herc. Okay, Sam Wilson, Dragon Man, Cap IW, Nova. Okay, so yeah, like that makes it 11. So I just straight up forgot to include him. Oh my god. Okay. So this fight's done. I'll check back with you on a little bit, but yeah, this fight pretty straightforward, pretty easy to do with Sentry here. And yeah, the fight requires a bit of strategy for sure, but like once you understand what to do and you get it done, hey, not that bad of a fight. And I think after this, I'm gonna put the Psycho Man fight just because I can't believe I forgot about it. Alright, I found the Psycho Man fight. So yeah, this is the fight that I forgot about earlier on. And I can't believe I did that because this was the hardest fight on the path by far. This guy's a challenge for so many different champions. I think for any champion, to be honest, he is just really tough to deal with. And yeah, Sentry, he struggles just as much as like any other champion in this fight, but that's okay, because hey, he's not perfect, right? None of these champions are perfect, but the craziest part is he still gets the fight done. So yeah, that's just, let's say it together, that's just Sentry for you. But yeah, now we have just like, let's talk about this Psycho Man for a bit. Let's talk about what he does. So this Psycho Man fight is annoying because he has the necrotic boon where every 15 seconds he will throw a prompt at you. And if you don't complete this prompt, you lose 15% of your maximum health. And that's just not a fun time for anyone, right? Like, that's a lot of health loss per failed prompt. And here's the thing, sometimes the prompts just line up in the worst ways possible. So like, you have to do like a heavy attack while he has a heavy attack control box active. So like, it has reduced ability accuracy and it like power locks you for like 8 seconds, right? It's very annoying. It's not a fun time at all. So yeah, this is a very scary though because we are almost about to lose our debuffs, but we don't lose our debuffs. But this is where the challenge really starts, because to get our debuffs back, we had to drop a heavy attack, while we are in the heavy attack little control box phase, so we got power locked because of it. And that's frustrating, right? Like, this is a frustrating fight. I do not like this fight at all. So here, drop the heavy attack. We could safely do it there, thankfully. And yeah, now it's looking like not as bad of a fight. We're making pretty good progress right now. Here we dropped the SP2, and now it's time to start doing some damage, man, because we are in the heavy attack phase, and things are going to be looking pretty good for us. Now, I could have played this differently. I could have stayed in the medium attack phase and just like not have to rely on the heavy attack, which can be gimped very often by Psycho Man. But I was just like, you know what? I don't care. I'm going to just do the heavy attack. It's fun. It's a fun heavy attack to fire off, in my opinion. And it might make this a bit of a challenge for sure, but I had a plan. My plan was very stupid, but I had one. So here's my plan. I'm gonna only do heavy attacks, and that's that. I'm just gonna only do heavy attacks, right? So this plan is, you know, it has its downsides, to put it lightly. The biggest downside is whenever I get that prompt to throw a special attack, I'm gonna fail it guaranteed, and I'm guaranteed losing 15% of my health. So yeah, that's not fun, obviously. However, this is the easiest approach to this fight, because once I'm at 3 bars of power and I'm only dropping heavy attacks, he will never get out of the blue control box. And that's the easiest box to deal with for me besides the special attack one, because my heavy attacks are not gimped and they're doing full damage. So yeah, this is like the best case scenario for me. I'm going to take a lot of damage every so often, but that's okay because I'm still doing a ton of damage to Psycho Man. And so now we have this challenge of whose health bar is going to go down first. And you never want to challenge Sentry to that because you're never going to win that, man, because he just does too much damage. So yeah, that's why this fight's a really fun one for Sentry, since it's literally just down to, okay, who's going to do more damage in this amount of time? Is it going to be Psycho Man or is it going to be Sentry against Psycho Man? And the answer is almost always Sentry. He's going to win this battle, right? So yeah, it's such a fun fight because you just ignore the node. You just decide that like it's better to just ignore it and do as much damage as you can before he knocks you out than it is to just try to play with the node and just be like super stressed out because of it. Like the damage we're taking is pretty noticeable, right? For sure. It definitely is playing a part in this fight, but the damage that we're doing also uninterrupted is very, very strong. We are doing like what, 64,000 crits and 50,000 burst damage right there, so like 100,000 plus damage on that one heavy attack hit. So if both hits crit, that's like over 200,000 damage right there. And yeah, right there, both hits crit, 200,000 damage. And now things are looking pretty even between me and Psycho Man. So this is like easily the most electric fight of this whole entire run, because it's just like a battle of damage, man. And yeah, this is what I want though. This is what I was hoping for. I was hoping for this battle of damage because I know that Sentry's gonna win it, obviously. But yeah, he is going down. So are we. Like that's just factual. We're also going down. We're at like what, 34%, now 19% health, and he's down to 21% health. So he does have the lead so far, but not for much longer, because we're gonna go back in and then we're gonna drop our heavy attack and just like hope for a crit, right? There we get one crit. I'll take that for sure. That's progress. And yeah, one more crit, another crit back to back, and now we're looking pretty good. But yeah, it's gonna be down to the wire here for sure. We got one more crit, another one right there, and I think we have the win. I think he cannot do like that much damage. Like he can't go through 2 phases of the special attack thing before he is down. So yeah, this one looks like it's a wrap for us, thankfully. And it was definitely a close one, right? But there we go. Fight's over. Down to the wire, if I'm being completely honest. But that was still super fun. Alright, I had to take a bit of a break so I could, you know, get some more energy, drink a coffee, just feel a bit better. Actually, no, I didn't drink a coffee. I drank an energy drink, a holiday energy drink, because I'm still festive, man. I don't care if it's the 27th, I'm still festive. So yeah, now we have this Dragon Man fight, and this one is such a filler matchup. it is genuinely like a snoozer. And that's not Sentry's fault, it's just the fact that he counters it so easily that you literally just do your damage and the fight will just end very quickly. Not like super quickly, but quickly enough. So yeah, this Dragon Man, his node is whenever you crit him, he gains this stun immune charge, and at 3 charges he goes stun immune. So like that's really it for this fight. Like that's really all there is to worry about. And once you like deal with that, which is it's very easy to deal with that, by the way, for a lot of champions in this game. But yeah, like once you deal with that, it's really a nothing fight. And yeah, like Sentry hard counters Dragon Man because of the Wither, so the power gain is just never a worry. He also, you know, he's Mystic, so he has extra damage against him. But yeah, it's such a joke of a fight. It's so easy. Like when I was planning out my original path for this guy, I had 3 fights in mind that I knew that he could do, and that was America Chavez, Dragon Man, and Wiccan. This is, you know, obviously why he made the list, because he's a very easy Sentry fight. But yeah, now we're about to enter the heavy attack phase, and once that happens, this fight is like officially over, since it's just like filler afterwards, man. It's a very straightforward matchup. But yeah, I guess I can use this to talk about Sentry versus other Mystic characters, since yeah, this guy, he's kind of an all-around champion. He can take a lot of different fights from different classes, in the Necropolis especially, but just like in general. However, he is a very strong Mystic counter as well. He has access to Wither, which turns off any power gain, so like Mcoc, Dragon Man, America Chavez, Sasquatch. I mean, Sasquatch, like that's Mystic Dispersion, but he counters that Mastery, for example. Just all like completely countered, right? He's such a good counter to all those things. Additionally, he has access to Halt, which stops Mangog, Sasquatch. Who else has like Unstoppable? The Destroyer. Very straightforward counter to all those characters. But okay, actually no, not Destroyer, because Destroyer has that buff thing, and Sentry has no way to like counter that. So okay, maybe not Destroyer, but you know, like I said, Sasquatch, Mangog counters those guys with that Halt debuff. And yeah, like he's just very good. He also counters Sasquatch like big time because of the exhaustion. So there's one thing that also like is really important, since Sasquatch is one of the best Mystic defenders in the game. So yeah, I think that Sentry is a very good champion, obviously. And it's crazy because like he was kind of just meant to do anything, but he's countering Mystic characters very well as well. So yeah, very cool. Gotta love Sentry, right? Here we go for a heavy attack, and it does very good damage, obviously. But like I said, this fight is just completely filler. It is so easy for a Sentry to complete, and yeah, like 66,000, right? That was that number, I'm pretty sure. Let's see if we can get it again. No crits there, that's okay, to be expected, to be honest. Because I'm pretty sure Dragon Man has crit res, I think anyway. I know like there's a fair few amount of champions where like you don't know they have crit res, but it turns out they actually do, and it just catches you so off guard. Like when I first fought like a Terrax, when I was like first doing like a video on Gauntlet Terrax, I was like, where are my crits at versus this guy? Like I'm just never getting any crits against him. He has like one of the highest crit reses in the game. It is crazy. Like I was so taken aback by like his crit res. And you know, it'll just surprise you sometimes that like some characters, they're like extra tanky. Dragon Man might be one of them. I do not know, to be honest, but I would not be surprised if he was. But as tanky as he might be, he's going down pretty fast in this fight, because yeah, those heavy attacks, they got the power of a million suns behind them. And you know what, that reminds me of something I want to talk about, which annoyed me. Okay, it didn't annoy me, but I was just like, really, man? So when I posted that Sentry video, I think it was, yeah, it was yesterday, first comment, not even 1 minute into like the video being posted, was just dogging Sentry. You don't understand from a creator standpoint how frustrating that is, because that tells me that they didn't watch the video at all, and they already had their mind made on a champion, and they didn't even give the video one chance to like change their mind. That's like the most frustrating thing to see as a creator, and I just had to make that known because I don't know, I think it's important to like at least give characters chances, right? Especially because when a narrative is like pushed on them like so early on, it's hard for that champion to even like have a chance to prove themselves, right? And the only way they can prove themselves is if the person that's watching the video, or like the person that wants to understand the character, actually does give them a chance. And when you like do stuff like that, it's hard to give them a chance since the narrative that's pushed like on them, it's just like really hard to compete against, right? But if you give this guy a chance, you can solo 11 Necropolis fights with him. That's insane. And you know, I don't mind going on this tangent when I'm 59 minutes deep in a video because I don't know how many people are going to be watching still at this point. But then again, 1 hour videos, like if you make it to the 1 hour mark, you are a true legend. So if you've made it this far, I want you to comment something to like show that you actually have made it this far. Comment Mole Man is the best champion in the game. We'll see who's like, we'll see who's actually made it. But yeah, that's Dragon Man down, and now we're down to 2 fights. We have Captain America Infinity War, and we have Nova. So first is Cap IW. This one is it's an oddball one for sure. So he has his awakened ability like on attack for some reason, and the only thing that's really like tough from that like necrotic boon is the fact that he can purify debuffs with the skill thing, but that's like once every 60 seconds or something, so it really isn't that bad to deal with, right? Now, like that's really it for this necrotic boon. There is one more thing, and if you do trigger it, then it's like, dang, that's unfortunate because it's actually kind of annoying. What it does is whenever he's at 5 of his kinetic potential and you like hit him, he inflicts a concussion of 100% potency. So you have 10 seconds of just having access to no abilities. Very annoying. Very, very annoying stuff, right? However, Sentry, you know, if you like actually play the fight right, you shouldn't really have to deal with that. I didn't play it right, so I had to deal with it right there. So, I mean, the fight can kind of get annoying, but also not really. It's a weird one, but like once you're in the heavy attack phase, you have your damage going, it's really whatever. But now we have the exhaustion phase up, so we can just get those going. And once we get into the heavy attack phase one more time, that's it. That's the fight just being won, and there you go. That's how many times has it been? How many times have I said it? But that's Sentry for you. He redropped the relic into the heavy attack into the SP2, and yeah, 55,000 crit, not bad. It's crazy how like a 60,000 crit on the SP2 from Sentry is just like kind of whatever, and that's just because like his heavy attacks can do double that damage. So yeah, I love when champions have like different forms of damage output, because you know the special attack is a lot of champions' moneymaker. Like Captain America, for example, that SP2 is his moneymaker. But with Sentry, it can be like the heavy attack, it can be like the regular attacks. I've never seen a champion that like is purely a regular attack damage dealer. Well, I mean, there's probably champions out there that like I'm forgetting about, but how often do you see champions where like their special attacks do so little damage? Okay, Sentry's SP2 is like good damage, right? But like compared to the basic attacks, like what champions have that besides like Angela? Because like Angela is definitely a basic attack champion. Her basics hit really hard and her specials do like 5 damage. But Sentry, it's somewhat similar, but the thing is both his like, you know, charged up attacks and his special attacks do like triple the damage of Angela. So I mean, then again though, Angela's still a very good damage dealer, so that should like really put into like perspective just how powerful this guy's damage output is. Because you know, when you're doing like 200,000 plus heavy attacks per heavy attack, there are some champions that have like 400,000 heavy attacks, but that's after cashing in all of their ramp up, right? Sentry can just do a 200,000 heavy attack and then do it like 1 second after, just like straight up back to back, like 200,000 heavy attacks, right? What other champion can do that? Like very few champions can do that. Like right there, we got 3 out of 4 crits on that heavy attack chain. That was like well over like what? Let's see, what's the damage going to be? Like almost 400,000 damage. in like that span of 3 seconds, man. Like this champion is one of the silliest things in the game whenever he's fully ramped up. Now, like I can like spew some stuff that is very debatable, obviously. Like I can be like, yo, this guy's literally the best champion in the game once he's ramped up, but like I can't prove that, right? I will say I think he definitely has a case of being like, when it comes to just like raw damage and raw power, like maybe top 10 most powerful in the game whenever he's fully ramped up, because his damage output is just stupid, right? It's just genuinely stupid, but he also has some pretty good utility outside of that. So he is just a machine when he's ramped up, right? And I know not everyone like wants to ramp up this guy, which is fair enough. I understand that if like ramp up characters aren't your cup of tea, you won't like Sentry. However, if your cup of tea is like having the strongest, like one of the strongest damage outputs in the game, you'll like Sentry. So it's just like, okay, would you rather have to ramp this guy and, you know, get like some crazy good damage output, or just never touch him again and have that FOMO of missing out on this really, really good character? It's like, it's up to you, right? I made my choice. I'm sticking with the ramp up, and I'll be honest, like once you do the ramp up for a lot of times, like I do with Sentry, it's not even that bad. And with like Necropolis, you ramp up on the first fight. Like you ramp all your charges on Sauron, or like on Titania, on, you know, all the other first fights. But honestly, man, this is, you know, this is kind of exciting. I've never done a 1 hour video. Like, and okay, I haven't done one in a while. I used to, bro, in my prime, like, I don't want to sound like an old man, but like in my prime of content creation, when I was like at 400, 500 subscribers, and I would like, you know, just do anything for the love of the game, which I will still definitely do, right? Like that's just still who I am. Content creation is my passion, obviously, but I was a different machine back then. I would post like 2.5 hour videos back to back. Like genuinely, look, go to my like oldest videos, like sort by oldest, look up the trial of Reed Richards. I got 2 2-hour videos just like back to back. It is genuinely crazy. Like I would just post like a machine, man. And I'm trying to get back to like that form, and I think it's going pretty well. It's definitely going like a lot smoother than like, you know, how it was back then when I had like what 400 or 500 subs, because I have like, you know, the support from y'all, obviously, and I have, you know, more experience, I guess. So like it's been fun returning to YouTube. I would say that I took like almost a 6-month break from YouTube. Yeah, like what, literally I took a 6-month break from like June till December. Like it's December right now, like December 10th I was on a break. I would say a 6-month long break. And yeah, I've been trying to get back into it, and it's going pretty well so far, especially with like all the momentum that we got from like the giveaway challenge, especially because y'all are crushing that. So it's been fun returning to form for sure. And I'm just like yapping because literally this fight is it's done, right? Like once Sentry is locked into that phase where like you just do heavy attacks, it's really just game over. So yeah, fight's done, and that's Sentry for you. But now we have one more fight. We have Nova. This is it, man. This is the final fight in this path. And honestly, as we approach the end of this video, I am kind of proud that I was able to actually like post, or like actually like commentate through a 1 hour video, just because I beat the washed allegations because of that. Because, you know, I've always told myself, like, if I can't commentate on like a 1 hour video, then I'm just washed, and like, you know, I'm not who I once was. But we're here, man. We're at an hour and 7 minutes, and we're at the final fight. So this is it. Now we've got the heavy attack phase, not the one with the exhaustion. So, because, you know, that's the game ending phase, right? But we're getting there. So there, you know, I mess up a lot in this fight. It's not a clean fight at all, but this is where like Sentry's regen really like plays a part into just how good this champion is, because you can mess up so many times and he will save you with that regen for sure. It's very helpful. And now we're back into our exhaustion phase, so we're gonna have all the debuffs built up, and then once we have our debuffs built up, it is time for the end of the fight, pretty much. Yeah, gotta do the heavy attack there. keep on getting hit, which is that's just on me, obviously. Like, that's just me playing bad. That's not Sentry's fault or anything. But yeah, now we're in the medium attack phase, and you know, this phase is underappreciated for sure. Like, we're doing 42,000 medium crits. That's very strong, obviously. Like 28,000 light attacks, that's very strong, obviously. So yeah, he's doing a good job in this fight for sure. He's doing great, right? And you know, it's just, you gotta appreciate it, right? You gotta appreciate the damage output that he's doing. That 61,000 SP2 crit, that's good, but then you see the 80,000 heavy attack crit, and it's like, wow, man, it really puts into perspective just how silly those heavy attacks are. That was 78,000 damage right there, plus 61,000 extra like energy damage. Like, that was almost what, 140,000 damage on that heavy attack. So if both hits crit, that's like 280,000 damage. For perspective, one Realm of Legends fight has about 540,000 health pool. 2 heavy attacks from Sentry that fully crit will one-shot a full Realm of Legends fight. Just 2 heavy attacks. Think about it that way. Think about his damage output that way, right? That's insane. That's genuinely crazy stuff. How like 1 heavy attack from this champion can like take away half the health of a Realm of Legends fight. That's insane, right? And like let's do some more math. So 2 heavy attacks equals 1 realm fight. 6 heavy attacks can, if there was no damage cap, then like 6 heavy attacks would get rid of Labyrinth Red Hulk. So yeah, that's Sentry for you, man. That's crazy. Let's go into Abyss. Let's think about Abyss. There where the damage cap won't affect Sentry that much. So let's think. Like, Abyss is like, what, 2.6 million? So, it'd be like, what, 10 heavy attacks to just, like, get rid of an Abyss fight? Like, this is just, like, Sentry at max ramp, by the way. I know, like, you have to build up to it, obviously, but, that's crazy. That is absolutely crazy stuff, right? And the craziest part is, this is just light boosts, right? If I had like full boost on, like 30%, 20%, like rainbow boosting, I don't even want to imagine that damage output. And like, think about it. You have access to those boosts like for any piece of content, so you could just go crazy. And the thing that like really interests me the most is Alliance War with Sentry, because if you don't plan like your defense around this guy, like, I'm being genuinely serious, he can just wipe out your like entire war map if he wanted to. Like, you'd have to place like bullseyes everywhere to like counter him, because of course he can't take bullseye, but he will be very dangerous, right? That's my prediction, at least. Of course, there are great science champions that can also just be a threat to any war map. For example, like Titania, who I'm not saying like Sentry is better than Titania, obviously, but if like Titania is blacklisted, or like Silk is blacklisted, or just like banned, you have another really strong like mini boss option right here. And like I said, I've done like 1 minute mini boss takedowns unboosted, so it can be like, what, like 40 seconds, I want to say, with like max boosting. Like, that potential just excites me, man. And you know, maybe it excites y'all as well. Like, maybe y'all like are really looking forward to Sentry gameplay. Maybe y'all will still just be on the hate train, which is fine, right? Like, you are allowed to think whatever you want to think. By the way, another like, what, 220,000 plus heavy attack right there. And by the way, this Nova fight, what the necrotic boon is like whenever you are close to him, he gains these charges, and at max charges, which is like 5, he like power burns your health. That's really it. So it's nothing too bad. Just don't like stay too close to him. And this was like designed to like force him to dash at you, which gives him his power gain. However, with Sentry here and the 10 withers, he will never gain power throughout this fight. So yeah, it's very good. And if anything, sometimes his power just gets drained straight up. So yeah, it's very, very awesome. Like, he can just counter all these cosmic characters with like power gain. Of course, the newer ones like Serpent and like Adam Warlock, they have like a cap on the power gain reduction, but that's okay, because I honestly think that, you know, I want to try a ramped up Sentry versus Serpent. I want to see like what the result is. I think it could have some potential, but I'm not too sure. It sounds fun. I'll do it on like the content creator beta, just to see like how it goes. But yeah, it's exciting. Like, the potential of this champion excites me. And as we close to like, as we approach the end of this video, yeah, I just want to say that, like, yeah, I'm excited for this character, man. He gets me excited because I've never seen a champion just like this dumb before in this piece of content. Like, I have actually, but it's been a while for me at least. So yeah, it's exciting stuff, and like I just want to see how he does in other pieces of content. And I feel like the future for Sentry, it's looking a bit bright because he has the power of 1,000,000 suns behind him. So yeah, there's the final heavy attack of this video. There are 11 Necropolis solos. Very, very fun time. I really did enjoy this. So yeah, let me know your thoughts on 7-star Sentry on this whole video. Do you like the long form content? Do you like the long form videos? And yeah, that's about it for me.